By the looks of my watch, it's officially grave time. Well, hello, and welcome to another grave time adventure. Today's topic is going to be on the 1965 Bigfoot sighting on Koch Lane, located in Live Oak, California, within Sutter County. Now, for those of you who don't know, or do know, if you're the typical grave time viewer, I was about 11 or 12 years old when I found out about the topic of Bigfoot in the library at James Rutter Middle School, located in Sacramento County. And my curiosity led me to asking my grandpa, otherwise known as Papa Hank, and he believed. And he had a story, and he gave me some books, and that's basically it. It just all exploded from there. So I found out about this website called the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, otherwise known as BFRO. That's BFRO.net. And found about this by a man by the name of David Paulides. Now, he's a former San Jose police officer, and now he's a field researcher on people who go missing in state parks. You might have heard of him and his interesting program and or podcasts called Missing 411. I highly suggest you watch his two documentaries, Missing 411 and then the other one about children going missing in state parks. Creepy as hell, interesting, but I think it's very informative. So check it out. This was submitted on Sunday, August 22nd, 2004. Man remembers child daytime sighting along the Feather River. The year that took place was in 1965. It was the summer, and it was in July in California, Sutter County. Location details. If you are coming from Yuba City, go to Live Oak Highway, and as you get to the famous Pasquini's restaurant, turn off the back road. The first road to the right is it. I don't know the name of it, but it's very simple. Go all the way to the back up the road ramp of the levee. You will stand on the top of the levee, look to the left, and about 50 yards there used to be cottonwood trees higher than the levee. They may still be there. The man's story. I'm 42, and now it's been a while since I decided to tell my story about what I saw that beautiful sunny day about 11 a.m. If you go down to Pasquini's restaurant, take rear turn off-road and keep going till you see a road turning the right. I live at the house by the levee in my childhood years, 1965 through 1968. Immigrants had a stack against the levee and always had a gather of the weekend. One day my mom was out to show the men how she could shoot her new .22 Ruger rifle at the tin cans. After all the fun, a man was just having an idea if he could just use the rifle on Saturday morning for cottontails. Dad and Mom was happy to let him use it. Saturday came around, and I noticed the homemade rack with cottontails and jackrabbits hanging upside down near the small cabins to the side of them. My brother told me to go with him and check them out. It was sad to see such a kill. That evening, the men showed my dad how beer battered makes a good rabbit roast over the fire, and we all had a share of the food with wild rice and flour tortillas. This went on for 2 weeks. Then a problem occurred. Someone was stealing the rabbits from the rack. since our family was the only one in the camp, we were most likely the blame. My dad was beat up at a card game as beer caused a climax over the rabbit issue, and I could not stand to see it. I was not afraid of anything because I never watched any TV in my life about scary stuff, so I had no feeling for that in that direction. I went up the levee to look around, and I saw a rattlesnake. I ran and told my mom about the snake. My mom said not to go up again. It could bite me, but my curious mind took me back up the next day. I walked up the levee looking down to the right side where I may have seen it last. When I got to the top, that was it. No snake. Then in the silence of everything but the soft breeze blowing a bit in my ear, I saw something moving in front of me. This huge monkey-like creature on a cottonwood tree, looking over the levee. I noticed it in the shade of the upper branch because of its leg was swinging back and forth below the branch. I got closer to adjust my focus on this big creature, and sure enough, it was some sort of ape-like thing, but with a smaller head, and it had human-like features. I looked down to see if there was a fence between us, and there was not any fence at all. My mouth was watering over fear, and I could not move my legs. I found a way to turn around and get off the levee. As I went down the levee, halfway, I started to run and never looked back. I told my mom about what I saw, and she stopped cleaning and told me to just shut and lock the doors. My mom was now thinking of the rabbits that had gone missing and told me food left out makes animals gather for more. We never went over the levee again. Fear after that was something to remember when alone at that age. We moved almost a few years later due to the Juan Corona murders on the same farm, and never spoke about huge monkey by the levee again. As you heard, this guy lived on the same farm land as the Juan Corona murders took place. Interesting side note, my dad told me a few years ago that the Juan Corona murders are actually what got him interested in becoming a police officer. My dad is currently still employed by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department, and had told me that the story was so interesting that he would cut out the articles in the newspaper and started putting them on paper and made basically like a folder, just of the whole story. He was so fascinated by this that it caused him to get into law enforcement. And I find that very interesting, just how sometimes things come back full circle. Here it is that his son, myself, is investigating a 60-year-old Bigfoot sighting on the property of something that got my dad interested into law enforcement. So here is my analysis. I do believe that this story, this eyewitness account, is true. For the record, I've never seen a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch, a wild man, a hairy man, or the other names given for this particular creature. What's interesting is there is a hand-drawn picture based off of this guy's memory. Now, skeptics would say, "Oh, well, he went on to Google Maps and basically, drew out this picture." Well, this story was submitted on August 22nd, 2004. And what is interesting is Google Maps didn't exist until a year later, and the actual street view that we are able to see on Google Maps wasn't actually available to the public until May 25th, 2007. So this visual of that he is drawing of this encounter on walking up this this driveway to the levee. I believe that portion of it. Now, the creature that he saw, yeah, I believe it. You know, like I said, I've never seen one of these things before, but I believe it. I've interviewed several other people that have had encounters. Their stories are so identical, yet the situations are completely different. Well, this concludes this episode of Grave Time. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you can be in the loop of the next Grave Time adventure. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this particular story or the topic of Bigfoot or Sasquatch, or do you know of any other names for this type of creature? Are you into cryptids like myself? Please feel free to share your input with me. There's no right or wrong answers. I'm just curious to know what other people think. As always, thank you for watching. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Bye.